Have you ever crept down a dark hallway, heart pounding, convinced something lurks just out of sight? Yet in that hush, God's own words echo softly. I am with you always, Matthew 28:20. What if the one who formed the stars also walks beside your trembling steps? You pause. What do you fear? The creak of floorboards? The blackened corners? Ask yourself, what stories has fear told you that you've never challenged? God whispers back, fear not, for I am your shield, Psalm 3:2-3. In each shadow under your bed, you imagined monsters. But what if those shapes were just untended dust motes in the lamplight of His presence? Remember when you first learned to swim, the water felt like a hungry beast, yet a hand held yours until you learned to float. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, Isaiah, and paplatiga banding dua. Which fearful waters is He inviting you to cross today? A sudden storm rattles your window. Thunder, lightning, your breath catches. But in the thunder's roar, do you hear another voice? Peace, be still. Mark 4:39. Could His calm be the eye of your inner storm? When the lights go out at night, your mind races through worst-case scenarios. Yet the same Creator who numbered the stars says, you are more precious than many sparrows, Matthew 10:31. How might that truth illuminate your darkest hour? Fear tells you to shrink back. Faith tells you to press in. In the cave of uncertainty, God's light shines brightest. Will you step deeper to see His glow? Maybe you dread failure, rejection, being alone. God's promise pierces those doubts. I will never leave you nor forsake you, Hebrews 13:5. Whose absence haunts you and whose presence might set you free. In the hush before dawn, you feel most exposed. Yet as the sky lightens, you sense His watchful eyes in every hue of color. How has He painted your scars into a sunrise? So tonight, when shadows stretch across your walls, will you cower or will you lean in? Even in darkest valley, you are with me. Psalm 23, banding 4. What will you choose to believe? Children fear the dark because they don't yet know what's in it. Adults fear the dark because they do. But God, He doesn't fear it, He enters it. He moves toward the broken, the scared, the forgotten. What if the places you avoid are where He's already waiting? Even the tiniest nightlight can shatter total darkness. So imagine what happens when the light of the world steps in. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, John 8:12. Will you follow, even if you can't yet see? Some fears don't roar, they whisper. What if I'm not enough? What if no one sees me, but God sees? Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, Jeremiah 1-5. Who told you that your fear defines you? When your breath shortens and your chest tightens, you're not alone. Jesus wept, Jesus feared. He knelt in Gethsemane, overwhelmed, crying, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. But He stayed. Can you stay, too, knowing He stays with you? Have you ever considered how fear protects? It warns of fire, of loss, of pain. But fear untethered becomes a prison. God doesn't demand you be fearless. He asks you to fear less, with Him by your side. Nightmares don't end with childhood. They evolve into deadlines, betrayals, diagnoses. But Scripture still speaks softly through the chaos. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. Isaiah 41:10. Look at the forest. Trees grow tallest where light barely reaches. Maybe God plants strength where you feel weakest. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. To Corinthians, Dozy Novi. Can you trust him to grow beauty from what feels barren? Some wounds can't be seen. Fear of failure, shame, loneliness. But Jesus still shows scars after resurrection. He doesn't hide them, he transforms them. What might your healing reveal to others? You don't have to conquer the dark. You just need to walk through it holding the right hand. Ask yourself, whose hand are you clinging to when your world turns black? Even shadows need light to exist. That means no matter how long your fear stretches, somewhere light is still shining. Jesus said, "A city on a hill cannot be hidden," Matthew 5:14. Maybe you are the light someone else needs. There was a boy who kept his fears in a jar hidden, labeled, tightly sealed. He never opened it, hoping they'd disappear. But jars fill up, they crack, they burst. Only when he handed them to God did the glass finally shatter, and light poured in. You say, "I can't go on." God whispers, "I will carry you." There's a reason the shepherd leaves the 99 to chase the one. Even limp footsteps matter when they move toward grace. Fear can shrink the world. It turns vast oceans into puddles we dare not cross. But remember, Peter only walked on water when his eyes were on Jesus. Where are your eyes fixed? Have you noticed how fear lies? It says, "You're alone." But Christ promised, "I am with you always, even to the end of the age," Matthew 28:20. What if the truth has been whispering through the static all along? Not all storms come to destroy. Some come to clear the path. God doesn't remove every wave, but he walks on them to get to you. What if your fear is the setting for a miracle? Imagine fear as a shadow on the wall. The bigger the light behind you, the longer it stretches. What if your fear is proof that light is nearby? God doesn't ask you to defeat the shadow, just turn toward the light. He fed the sparrows, he clothed the lilies, he calmed the storm. So why do you still think your fear is too messy for him? He isn't intimidated, he's invested. Fear isolates, but community heals. That's why Jesus wept with Mary and Martha before raising Lazarus. He didn't just offer power, he offered presence. Who are you walking with through your shadow? You were not made to live inside fear. You were made to reflect glory. Perfect love casts out fear, 1 John 4:18. And God's love is not just perfect, it's personal. It chases, it covers, it calms. In the end, the darkest part of the night is right before dawn. So if it feels unbearable, hold on. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30, Banding Lima. You are not forgotten, you are held in holy hands.